UFC 287. Brandon,
Yeah.
this was an absolute day. Hit us with what we got.
So, what a night. Starting off, the main event of the prelims, like I predicted, Kelvin Gastelum and Chris Curtis put on the fight of the night, back and forth, uh, throwing hard leather. Guys were getting both guys were rocked on both points. There was a point taken away. Gaslam got the unanimous decision. Jesus Christ, unanimous decision at the end of the fight. Uh, Chris Curtis kind of tweeted afterwards saying, "I'd love to, run it back with him, and I'd be totally down with that, and this time be a 5 round main event on a fight night." Moving on to the pay-per-view, we had Raul Rosa Jr., the 18-year-old phenomenon, taking on Christian Rodriguez. Now, listen, Raul had a good first round. He chased the takedown a lot. A lot.
It was aggressive.
Yeah, and the inexperience kind of showed. Christian Rodriguez was able to defend majority of the takedowns in the first round. Raul had got his back, got a choke. Looked like it was deep, but he was able to ride it out and get out of that. And then the last 2 rounds, Rodriguez just took over. We saw a little bit of Raul stand up. It is completely non-existent. He's got a lot of work to do. This is what happens when you open your mouth and you say, I can beat any top 15 bantamweight in the world. I understand the confidence, but 18-year-olds, they do say ignorance is bliss, and you found out. So next up,
Real quick, Brandon, I
yeah,
want to say this.
yes,
Rodriguez is a pro. He was savvy, and he was like the most calm I've ever seen somebody in a fight. Raul was 2 of 19 on strikes,
yeah,
and I felt in the third round especially, he was just taking him onto the ground, and the triangle he got him in, it looked like he was going up against his younger brother. I'm really impressed with what Rodriguez put on.
yeah.
And at 9-1, man, he needs a lot more credit. I hope he got a lot of his respect
Now
out.
he did miss weight, so can't be having that.
1 pound,
Yeah,
right? How big of a
I think
deal
it
is
was
that?
I think it was
Missing
two
weight by
pounds,
one
but
pound.
still, you can't miss weight. You got to come in. You got to be a professional. He did forfeit, 20% of his purse for that, but yeah, good win. Uh, Definitely, took away some fans from Raul, who had a big hype train coming in. Next up, we had another very good fight. Kevin Big Mouth Holland taking on Santiago Ponzinibbio. I call him the Pons. They were going back and forth. Holland was kind of getting the majority of it, and then really, I just want to talk about the knockout because it was a beautiful one. He caught him with the left hook, I believe, because his right hand was still not healed from when he broke it back in December. I just saw an interview he did today with Ariel Hawani. Apparently, he wasn't allowed to put on a 4 ounce glove and strike with it until March 24th because his hand was still damaged. So he basically fought that guy, almost won Pons one handed, and he delivered a beautiful left hook that just sat him down, face down, ass up. I know Pons after the fact kind of protested the stoppage, but
It gets
it's
dominated.
it's the ones where the second punch while he was on the ground woke him back up, and he thinks that he's okay, and then the refs just go in there like, no, you woke back up, you were unconscious, buddy. But it happens all the time. But great win for Holland, who was fight on a 2 fight skid, lost to Hamzat and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. No slouches there, but big win for him there, especially the knockout. So he's back on the right track. He did call out Jorge after his win.
Which
Obviously,
forfeit.
Jorge retired later on that night, and I don't think we're going to see that fight in MMA because I think Jorge is done. To be honest with you.
His what was it, an 8 or 9 inch reach advantage?
Yeah.
All he was favoring the left hand because his right was bopped. You could just tell the knockout was coming because Holland has a lot of power. Like
Uh-huh.
you're not ready for it, and it's a bam. And man, I think he's one of the most underrated fighters. Like his power, length, and confidence. That's a rare
The
combination.
confidence is, yeah.
It is. It is. He is Very confident. Look, man, he was playing nice. They're doing some glove taps and stuff like that, but nah, he is a killer.
Yeah, he's a fan favorite. I do. He's already calling that he wants to fight May 13th against Michael Chiesa. Top, I think he's top 15 still welterweight. So he said he wants to get in there with a grappler. He hasn't fought a grappler in a while. So listen, this is a guy who during the pandemic year fought 5 times in 1 year, which is I think a record. So he's always down to fight multiple times a year. Next up. This is where the sadness began for Brandon and his favorite fighters. It's been I know you guys haven't watched UFC fights with me, but basically for the last like 3 years, it's been a tough go for Brandon and his favorite fighters. They've fallen on a lot of hard times. You know, Cody Garbrandt, Tony Ferguson, Jorge Masvidal. Still, it's a lot of hard time for Brandon. And this was another one. My boy Adrian, my boy.
Good.
No, no.
Good.
So
He lost to a fellow Puerto Riqueño.
He did, and he lost to a
Yes, sir.
Well, he also lost to a Boston guy. So New England Cartel, shout out. Listen, Adrianez, the fight for the first basically 2.5 minutes. It was a great fight. Both guys were swinging. Adrianez looked very good, still slick as hell. And then Font caught him with an uppercut, clean, and Yanez was unable to recover. Don't listen. All right, I'm already going through it, Josh. There's no need to. All right. he got hurt. He got rocked. Yanez did, and he wasn't able to recover after that. And Font, like a pro, poured it on after that and really smothered Yanez. And Yanez, like the warrior he is, very much like a Cody Garbrandt, bit down on his mouthpiece and just started swinging. And that's one of the worst things you could do when you're hurt, is do that. It doesn't lead to very good things happening. But that's what it's usually the instinct too when you are a boxer and a striker and you got power and pop, that you just go, well, I'm hurt, I'm wounded, I'm gonna fight and I'm just gonna swing. I was yelling at the TV to shoot, shoot for a takedown, try to get some recovery and time to pass, but he didn't. So shout out Rob Font. He was fighting. He had a 2-fight skid, losing to Jose Aldo and Cheeto. So that's a big win for Rob Font. Big knockout. First time Yanez has been knocked out in his career. So it's a major win for Rob Font. He is a great boxer. So he's back on the right track. And as far as the Adrian Yanez, listen, young fighter, he'll be back. He knows he messed up. He was already saying it. So he'll be back, and I got full faith Adrian Yanez will be a top bantamweight for years to come. No doubt.
This was the one fight I missed, but the next one, BC, yeah, more pain, huh?
Yeah, but it was kind of bittersweet because you got to see it, him walk away. I mean, I'm not going to talk much about the fight, but Gilbert was catching Jorge with the right hand multiple times. He was able to get the takedown in the second round and control majority. And then in the third round, by the third round, Jorge was completely gassed. I mean, it's hard to expect it. He's 38 years old. That was his 52nd pro fight, not to count the countless ones that he fought in the backyard on YouTube for Kimbo Slice back in the day. This was the first time Jorge's, age showed himself. And listen, it was time to hang up the gloves. It was. He's had a phenomenal career, Hall of Fame career, in my opinion. A superstar, a guy who wasn't. I mean, if you were a hardcore fan, you knew Jorge, but until 2019, the mainstream people didn't know him. And 2019 will go down as one of the greatest years for a mixed martial artist. He was fight of the year, most improved of the year, comeback fight of the year. I mean, from the knockout in London on Darren Till to the 5-second knockout on Ben Askren that just shot him into superstardom, to the BMF title in MSG with The Rock holding the title against Nate Diaz in the main event. That year, it's something special. And that's really what shot Jorge into superstardom. His only detracting was, he didn't do well against wrestlers. He lost to Usman twice, Colby, and now Gilbert. And listen, that's no slouches. Those are three of the top 5 welterweights in the world right now. So shout out to Jorge Masvidal. I tip my hat to you. Salute. Great career. It's been an honor to watch you. And Street Jesus has left the building. And I love that he got to do it in his hometown, 305. So yeah, nothing more to say. True, you know what? Last thing. His nickname is Game Bread, and he truly was game bred through and through.
Yeah, I mean, I always think back to that Askren fight. Looking back, a 5-second knockout is not something you would envision. Then you watch it, and at the end, he hits him with a little fake celebration of him being knocked down on the side. Mm-hmm. And that only leads us to
the redemption.
Oh.
The main event. Champion Alex. I want to try and get her. Alex Pereira. All right, that's the more traditional way of how you say it. Taking on Israel Adesanya for the middleweight title. Man, this fight was special. This is gonna go down in history. I'm gonna be honest with you. In round 1, it was very close. I gave the slight edge to Izzy. Not much action. Alex was finding the home for those leg kicks. They were starting to, hurt Izzy and affect Izzy, similar to in the first fight. This one a lot quicker, as we saw in the second round, even more. But like I said, when Izzy was going forward and backing Alex up, and when he was in the middle of the octagon, he was winning the fight. He was picking him apart. And Izzy was throwing. I don't know if you picked up on this, John, but he was throwing. Loved this combination where he would throw the left, keep it out there to kind of blind Alex, and then throw the right over top. He threw that about 7 or 8 times throughout the fight, and it's a beautiful punch. It's the one he rocked Alex with in the first fight, their first MMA fight at the end of the first round. Now during the second round, I said literally out loud, I said, listen, Izzy is clearly the better fighter. He is. He has won the majority of the rounds. He is just the only thing Alex has over him is the power, which is the difference maker. I get that. In round 2, though, Alex had a lot more success, especially with that leg kicks. Like I said, he was starting to hurt Izzy with them. He had a couple of flurries where he was able to back Izzy up into against the cage, which I said was a big no-no for Izzy. And then it happened. So he hit it. Basically, the ending sequence was he hit Izzy with a leg kick, made Izzy switch stance, start backing up. He throws a couple of shots. Izzy curls up, and Izzy says this after the fight in the post-fight press conference. He was playing possum there because he knew, all right, Alex is gonna start, opening up, leaving that chin up, the hands going wild. It's exactly what he did. Is he cocked back, right hand perfectly placed on the jaw and the cheekbone, rocked Alex. He kind of like stumbled back, came back, and guess what was there to meet him again? A right hand right on the ear, slept him. Good night. And Israel Adesanya retains his middleweight championship. I went absolutely buck wild for that. Throwing the air, 3 of them too, because you beat me 3 times, and now I just sent you into the shadow realm, baby. And listen, he made history too. The first fighter to lose 3 times to the same person and beat him in the 4th fight. And he ended it. He closed the chapter on Alex. Alex does not deserve a rematch. I don't want to hear any of that. If he wants a rematch, he has to go fight somebody else in 185, win and get back to it. But as far as I'm concerned, Izzy has closed that chapter. It's done. I can't say enough. I mean, it was a career-altering fight for Adesanya. Listen, his career could have went easily the other way. But now it's this way, and he's back on top. He's the best middleweight in the world. He's the second base middleweight of all time, right behind the great Anderson Silva. He's got a tough test ahead of him that hasn't been announced yet. It's all speculation, but For right now, he gets to bask in his own glory. Shout out Israel Adesanya. Nothing more you could say. I mean, it's truly remarkable to be able to witness this. And like I'll keep saying to you guys, there's nothing like this sport. There's nothing like it on this planet Earth. It's the best sport in the world for moments like that.
Brennan, I missed that last 30 seconds. And I hear Joe Rogan screaming. I'm like, what the hell happened? And I see someone just knocked out. I'm like, no way that he got Izzy again. I'm like, no way. And then I see Izzy shooting a bow and arrow. I'm like, what the hell happened? And I look at the replay I'm watching. I'm like, okay, he's got him back up against the wall the same way he beat him last time, got him on a knockout. And then Izzy, you can tell when he's defending is seeing Alex open up, and as you said, bam, bam, sleeps him. And then afterwards, after his son mocked him the last time he got knocked out, he finds him, points to him, goes, boop. That, to me, was one of the greatest celebrations I've seen. But, man, it is really special to see not only these fighters play, but the actual technical side of it. The preparation, knowing, okay, this is where you beat me last time, and how oftentimes, man, the other boxer that loses does not see it coming. We saw it with Kamaru versus Leon, right? The first time, I think it was, that he got his revenge before he beat him a second time. And then we just saw it now with Izzy. There's a lot more that goes into it than just the standard baiting back and forth. It's awesome.
Listen, it's a special feeling, and if you listen to the post fight interview with Joe Rogan, Izzy's speech, I mean, he was elated. He literally basically just begged the world, if you could feel the happiness that I'm feeling right now, because he's got to be on, cloud nine. You lose to a guy 3 times, one by a split decision, controversial. The second time, flatlined you. And like John said, his own kid is mocking you. The third time, in your new sport, he follows you, comes there, gets fast-tracked. You take the fight. Knowing full well he's being fast-tracked, you take it. You're winning, and you get TKO'd. Early stoppage, in my opinion, but TKO'd, fair play, in the third fight. You come back 5 or 6 months later. Your coach even says he came back a little too early this camp. I'm not a big fan of how fast he came back. You keep saying, listen, I'm not playing around this time. I'm coming to take it. And there's something about fighting with no worries anymore. What do I got? You've finished me twice. I lost you 3 times. I got nothing more to lose. And Izzy fought like that. He was waiting. He was like, I'm not letting you off the hook anymore. I'm going to get you. And he finally caught him. And shout out, I can't say enough about it. Israel Adesanya, best middleweight in the world. Shout out to the last style bender. Truly a special talent.
Isn't one of another one of his nicknames Stone Hands?
No, I don't
That's
think so.
not one of his other nicknames?
No. He's just
Okay.
the last style bender, yeah.
I thought that was another one of his nicknames. Okay.
No, I haven't heard
It
that.
seemed like he had Stone Hands with that knockout, but
You know what I love? I love the celebration, and like you said, Brandon, I didn't know this is all. I learned more about the UFC when I hear you talk. When you lose to somebody three times in a row, at some point this becomes very personal. It's like that Michael Jordan meme. It became personal to me.
Oh, and guess what? Guess what, Justin? And you bring that up. He tweeted Instagram as he did after the fight. Oh, the kid thing. And I took it personal, and he did the exact thing that MJ. Oh, and I took it personal.
It became personal,
Yep.
and you could see it all in that celebration. Like I'm watching that, seeing the 3 arrows that he's shooting at this guy, and then him throw himself on the floor. I was like, oh my gosh, like that meant something. That's a cool energy, and it's always fun when you see Joe Rogan getting up out of his seat, screaming after a knockout.
Oh yeah, I mean I think it's still my Facebook banner thing is the Joe Rogan meme where he's just like, it out of his mind. I mean, the reactions they get of all those guys after the fights are incredible because they just go, oh, it's hilarious. But last thing I do want to kind of portray to the fan base, and maybe John cuts this off and makes it a TikTok, because I do want to get people's opinions on this, because the conversation started to arise after that fight. Is Israel Adesanya a top 10 mixed martial artist of all time? I go back and forth. For me, this is my list from 10 to 1. 10, Henry Cejudo. 9, Daniel DC Cormier. 8, Stipe Miocic. 7, Jose Aldo. 6, Habib Nurmagomedov. 5, Demetrius Johnson. 4, Anderson Silva. 3, controversial, but I'll die on this hill, Amanda Nunes. 2, George St. Pierre. 1, John Bones Jones. Honorable mentions outside are Izzy, Alexander Volkanovski, Max Holloway, Kamaru Usman, BJ Penn, and you got to throw Conor McGregor in there as well. But I do just want to get the fans' opinions on that and really know, what they think, what their top 10 is.
No Conor McGregor in the top 10?
No, it's just for me. Listen, biggest superstar, megastar. I shouldn't even say superstar. He transcended the UFC. He is a megastar. He actually might be the biggest combat sports athlete of all time, even surpassing Muhammad Ali. He won 2 titles, 2 division weights. He never defended them. He's got some redemption arc. He can come back too. He's coming back supposedly this year, at the end of this year, against Michael Chandler. He can make another run, but for me, it's defending the titles means a lot to me. There's the quote of you're not a real champion until you defend the titles.
I'm with you on there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I missed. Where do you have Kamaru Usman?
He's an honorable mention. He's not top 10 for me.
Okay.